good evening, good evening, and Happy New Year. Thank you guys again for joining another episode of Women Who Win, our very first one for 2021. And I am still excited. And I say still because, we don't live under a rock. So the unrest going on in our nation right now is unsettling to say the least. But we still have to use what God has given us to share our stories and to encourage and inspire. So I'm excited about my guest tonight. Um, Special guest I have, and I'll share a little bit more as to why I call her a special guest. So I am not going to delay. I'm going to do as I always do. I'm going to read her bio before I bring her on, and then I'll bring her on the screen. If you are watching, because of the way we broadcast, please jump in the comments and just say hi to us. If you want to let us know where you're watching from. Um, I don't get to see your name or who you are unless you comment because of the platform we're in. So if you're on supporting my guest tonight, go ahead and jump in the comments and say hi to her. Or if you're a regular watcher of Women Who Win. Glad to see you back for 2021. So love to see you jump in the comments and say hi. So my guest tonight is Mandy Burgess, and her bio reads, Mandy is a board certified esthetician for over 15 years and the owner of Studio M Professional Skincare. Mandy's passion is helping anyone who suffers with various skin conditions. She often finds her clients have exhausted all skin care avenues, including physicians, before landing with her. Additionally, Mandy enjoys mentoring and training upcoming estheticians in the industry. She believes it is her calling to help raise upcoming technicians to the standards in which her career was founded upon. Mandy is the proud mother of one, and without further ado, I am going to bring her on the screen. Hello, 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 and welcome, Mandy.
Hello, how are you doing, Miss Tammy?
I am doing well, doing well. So very excited to have you with us. And I said I would share why. Typically, what I do after I read the formal bio, I like to kind of share my personal story, if there is one, with how I know my guests. So I have been doing business with Mandy for about 10 years, maybe going on a little bit more. When I moved back um, to Greenville, did a Google search to find someone to do some skin waxing for me, found her business, and have been with her ever since. So she helps keep my face smooth when things get a bit unruly. But I also say that Mandy is a special guest because when I first launched Women Who Win back in May of last year, Mandy was scheduled to be my very first interview, but she got sick and we had to work on rescheduling her and fill in. But the reason I asked her to be a guest then, and I don't know if I had even shared this with her, Mandy is part of the inspiration as to why I even do these. I was
Oh,
getting service one day, and just because I've known her so long and been doing business with her so long, I've been able to see how she's been able to grow her business, and even in transitioning in different things in her personal life, you never stop. You keep going. So when I think of Women Who Win, you naturally come to mind. You were that's why you were the very first person I invited, and that's why I was adamant about rescheduling you, because I think you personify what a Women Who Win looks like. So I'm so very glad that we could get you rescheduled.
that is a huge compliment coming, especially coming from you, because I've always thought the world of you. So,
Oh, no problem. I enjoy my time on your table. Even though I know what the service I get, I'm not in there that long, but we always enjoy catching up. So some
I
of my
love
friends
it.
and sisters are joining in. Hey MJ, hey Cheryl. So again, you guys that are watching, go ahead and jump in the comments and say hi to Mandy, or you can say hi to me if you're watching again. Thank you guys for joining us. So Mandy, I'm going to jump right in. Um, I met you through business, of course. So I'm not sure at that time how long you had been in business. So when did you first launch business for yourself? When was that beginning?
Okay. And so, just so you know, I heard that perfectly fine. We are back to having some connection issues. So, if I
Oh,
ask you to, yeah,
okay.
it's okay. I think it's on my end for sure. Um, So I branched out on my own in 2010. Is that when you said you and I met?
I moved back.
Yes.
Yeah, I moved back here in 2010. So I think it was when I first scheduled with you. It had to be that same year because I couldn't go too long without getting some help on this face, honey. So it had to be. It probably was that same year. Yeah. Okay. So what was this a career that you always wanted? Was it always your desire to be an esthetician, or was this something you happened upon? How did you choose this path, or did this path choose you?
Right. So no, originally when I was younger, I wanted to be a nurse, and I was in started Greenville Tech for that. Um, it just so happened that my ex-husband's mother was one of the original estheticians in Spartanburg, and I was always fascinated by what she did. And
Mhm.
but at that time, there definitely wasn't an esthetician on every other corner, so it was kind of frowned upon, or he didn't encourage it, my family didn't encourage it. Everybody was like, no, you just that's too risky, you can't, it's too hard to get started in that, and to really be successful. So it was really discouraged. And like I said, I was going to Greenville Tech, and
So you were
doing
actually
well.
going to Greenville Tech for nursing already?
Yes,
Wow.
yes, 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 yes. So, and I absolutely love that. I love the medical field. I love the emergency room or ICUs, things like that. High, adrenaline. Absolutely love it. But one day I just said, you know what? I'm going to give this a try. And I was still in nursing school and went and enrolled in aesthetics school. And that was it from there. It was perfect. I honestly just don't think at that time I wanted to. There was still a lot of school to do, and I just didn't want to, keep going with that. But I've always said and still say, if something happens with my aesthetics career, I'm going back to nursing for sure.
Okay. See, look, I've already learned something about you. I've known you all this time and
I
did
know.
not know that you started out in nursing and flipped over to aesthetics.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So considering, so you said it was your, at the time, your ex-husband mother that influenced you.
Hmm.
What, did you initially start off with mentors in the industry other than her, or how did you learn? Because you totally flipped the script on what you were doing. So how did you learn and get your footing in the business?
I most definitely had mentors. I had people that, worked with me, that poured into me. I still have that. And they, set really good examples. And I think that's part of why I want to give back to people and hopefully have a good influence on other estheticians' careers as well. But I started off working in a bigger spa in Greenville, and I did that for several years. I still give the owner of that place credit for where I am today, and I do recommend that for new estheticians coming out of school to potentially go and work somewhere where there are veteran estheticians and or just other people. So that was definitely the move that like catapulted my career. And probably after about 5 years of there, um, I said what everybody says, and now I actually caution people to a certain degree. It's like, oh, I can go do this for myself and make a lot more money, and it's true, you can. But there's been a lot of learning and heartache and things like that along the way as well. There's something to
Hmm.
be said for getting a paycheck and going home.
Right. The ease of that flow of just knowing you put in your time and you're gonna get paid for it, and that's
Right.
all you have to
Yeah.
do. Um, so since this was not always something you wanted to do, what was it about nursing that was attractive to you? Was there something in your upbringing or childhood that made nursing attractive, or was it just, like you said, the adrenaline of what you had seen in and out of the hospital scene?
Right. No, so I definitely enjoy helping people, people that need help medically or and now, so I feel like aesthetics for me, because I've changed and grown so much with how I use aesthetics, that I am helping people in the same, like, I'm not a medical professional, I can't claim that, but I still am truly making a difference with people who are suffering from certain skin conditions like acne and things like that. But yeah, it was just always helping people for sure.
Okay. Okay. So then, as a lot of times when you find a person that is in business for themselves or take that launch, it's something or someone that is in influence them. So what would you say about your upbringing that either prepared you or propelled you into being the woman you are? Was it something that maybe an event or recurring events that happened that prepared you, or sometimes we have circumstances that propel us?
Yeah.
So what would you
So
say helped
for
Mandy
taking
become?
the launch into my own business, is that the part that you're talking about? Like what propelled me into branching out on my own?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Again, watching Derek's mother, who had been successful in this, and she kind of worked for herself and had her own hours, and I was just so in love with that. That played a huge role in me actually stepping out on my own. So I have to definitely give credit to that situation. However, my mom, like, she was and is such a strong lady, but I watched her because I come from a single parent home. I watched my mom work 2 and 3 jobs at times, and manage us and do everything really well. So it definitely my upbringing. I get my strength and my determination, my willpower from my mother. And then, as a young adult, I watched somebody else do this, and I was like, okay, I think this is the route I want to go.
Okay, so you were definitely influenced by seeing the strength in women that surrounded you. I think that's amazing
Yes,
how
yes.
we can glean from people that we don't even realize that they're teaching us by their actions. So, um, I one of the things that, like I said, the one of the reasons you help inspire this platform by what I watched you do. I remember when I first came to do business with you, you were in the location off of Airport Road. Then
Hmm.
you moved to Lawrence Road, and then to your location that you're at now on Pelham Road. And I just continue to see you do business, grow your business, pivot and transition, while getting married, having a child. So how did you maintain um, an even flow, or how was it trying to do both at the same time, being Mandy, the business owner, then Mandy, the wife and mother? How was it, and what were some challenges that you faced trying to do both?
Oh, right. It's very hard. I mean, it's extremely hard. It's still very satisfying and worth it for me. But, as a mother, there is, and I'm sure it's for all mothers, there's guilt of what the time that we're giving our kids. So when you own a small business and you wear so many hats, like you are the electrician, you are the marketing person, you are the esthetician, you're the janitor, you're doing all of these things, and that spills into your time once you've picked your kids up as well. I made my own appointments for many years by myself, so my phone was constantly ringing, I was constantly updating web pages, and I felt very guilty a lot. And I have learned now, my son is 7 now, and I've started to kind of figure out how to balance that a little bit better. I have like a saying for myself now that kind of helps get me on track, and that is discipline. I think I mentioned to you, so many people say, oh, I'm not motivated. It doesn't, it's not motivation, it's discipline. So now I have to be disciplined to, when we're at home and we're together, that's it. That's our time. I'm not answering phone calls. I'm not doing text messages, and vice versa. When I'm at work, I want to give, when you come in and you're on my table, like, that's all I'm thinking about at that time. I know my kid is safe. I know he's fine. Like, I enjoy those few minutes that I get with you, but I'm like that with all of my clients. And I'm there, I'm present in the moment, and I'm not trying to be somewhere else. Now, that took a lot of, you know, that took some years. And I'm not saying I've mastered it and that I'm great at it now, but I am, able to just see when I need to kind of bring it back in a little bit and focus on what's in front of me. Is it my child? Is it my family? Or am I with my clients?
Hmm. That's good. Discipline. Yeah, and you did mention that as we were talking to prepare that you just had to decide um, every day to show up and do what you have to do. And I know one of the other things that you had shared with me about the challenges of being the owner. Can you talk speak just a little bit on that because um, you know, I know a lot of us have small businesses, but it's different when you're running a small business out of your home or in the comfort of your home versus having a brick and mortar. So,
Right.
what was it that prepared you, or what have you done to maintain your success of not only having your own business but having your own space and expanding it?
Right. So one of the biggest success factors I would say is pulling in my circle, my group of people. That means like I have an accountant, I have a marketing person, I have a receptionist. I have these people that I've had to pull into my life that I know are strong in the areas that I am weak in. Like there's only one Mandy. And my circle around me is people that are, calm and organized and collected. And meantime, I'm just like, let's do this. I'm flying all around the place. But it's truly my circle. It is having my circle, and that
Mhm.
circle sometimes changes. It's not the same circle it was, even 5 years ago. But having the right people in place, accountants, again, just all those various positions, to me has made me successful. And I mean, it comes at a cost for sure. Everybody, all these people are paid people. They're not people that are hanging out with me for the fun of it. But it has definitely made a difference, and to me, that's really helped me be successful.
Mm. Now, that's one of the things that I like to talk about, especially when it comes to women, because women in relationships sometimes get a bad rap. We can't get along, can't work together. But it takes a group of someone around you. If you have a big undertaking and you think you're going to do it by yourself, you're already kind of setting yourself up for failure.
Right.
So you've talked about the circle of professionals that surround you to help you maintain your business. What about outside of work? Who help encourages Mandy? How have your friendships and relationships changed over time as your business has grown and expanded?
Right. So first and foremost, I have to say that I am generally friends with the people that work for me. I have heard some employee, it's funny because you hear, I have heard that some employers say, oh, well, you shouldn't be friends. You can't be friends. You can't mix. But no, when you're as small as what my operation is, you have to be friends with everybody that's in your space. You have to trust them, completely. And I'm so thankful that a majority of the people who have ever been an employee of mine that are not with me today, we are still friends. So those are some of my very best friends. And several of the people I'm talking about. Like, I think people
Yeah.
come into our lives for a season, for a reason. So I definitely have good relationships with the people that I employ. Now, outside of work, I have the best group of girlfriends. I may not get to see them all the time. They are busy. They have families. They have careers. We have kids. We have actually in one group, I'm the only one with the kid, but I have the most supportive, and a lot of those ladies are entrepreneurs as well, or hold really, good jobs, but they're so supportive. When I first got started out on my own, it definitely eliminated some friends who, and right, wrong, or indifferent, but these friends were very needy. So it's like if girlfriends that if you didn't respond to a text back in a timely manner, or you didn't make a big enough deal over a birthday, or if you hadn't seen them once every 2 weeks. And I was just like, I just don't, I can't do that. I can't do that in a romantic relationship, much less a friendship. So it was a few years after I got launched on my own that I was like, gosh, I don't have some of the same friends anymore. And you know what? Again, that's okay. Um, the right group will support you. They'll be there for you. It don't matter if they talk to you once a year, once every 10 years. You could pick up that phone and they are all right there with you. And
Mhm.
you just have to know when to let certain relationships go. So I
Mhm.
can truly say today that my friends, it is a solid group that I know I can count on, and they know they can count on me. If somebody calls my phone, if I can't get up and take my child to go get them, I'll pay for them a cab or something like that. We just have a very solid, encouraging, and
Mhm.
uplifting. I'll also say that we all have our life struggles and everything, but my group, my supportive group, my girlfriends, none of those ladies are extremely negative or rude or anything like that.
Mhm.
Just the core of people, so they're just good supportive people,
Good.
ladies.
That is so very important. So very important. I like the way that you kind of differentiated as you grew, you knew, you recognized your circle had changed, and like you said, you were okay with that.
Right.
So your business, of course, the type of business you were in was, of course, heavily impacted initially by the pandemic, having to shut down and close. How did you navigate that? How challenging was that time for you as a small business owner with employees?
Right. So, and I'll even jump back to 2008 when the housing market and everything crashed. That was initially when I was kind of like, jumping out on my own and stuff as well. Um, and at that time, I had a skill that was still in demand. So when some of the fluff things were cut out, people were still coming to me to essentially get waxed. Like ladies were still getting waxed and they were still getting their hair done. We might have skimped on a lot of stuff, but those were a couple of things that and that is true today as well. Tammy, there have been different times in my career and having employees, being on my own, that things have gotten really tough, whether it's been a pandemic or not. And that there have been several times that I've just thought, this is it. Like, I'm done. I'm tired of struggling. Like, these these employees, people that depend on me, I want them to be successful. They need to go. As a matter of fact, one time I fired everybody and told them, I said, take your clients, go get a good job. This is it. I'm done. At the end of the year, I'm closing out. And end of the year comes, everybody that I've trained has gone and gotten good jobs, and it picks back up in January and just takes off. And so then I'm working solo like crazy by myself. I had Tiffany with me, but yeah, there have been different times, pandemic or not, that I've come close to just thinking, this is it. This is like, I can't do this anymore. I've been very fortunate with the pandemic, and I think just with the longevity of me being open, that I have a decent clientele base. I have established myself even more so in the aesthetics world of needs. We all love a good fluff and just a good pampering, loving facial. But that is something that I do very, very, very infrequently now. So some of the things that I'm doing are, it is important. I think I've referred to acne a few times. I have what I call an acne boot camp, and it's really life changing for the people that need to come into that. So it's things like that that has really just taken care of me during this
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. We have definitely slowed down. I've called it survival mode, but I mean, we're very blessed because we are surviving. You know, things are going well. I'm able to make some additions and some changes, and just once this COVID gets in check a little bit, have new things to offer my clients. And that is something that I'm always doing as well. It's looking into um, new services and stuff like that. So I think that's helped me get through these difficult times as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. You announced not too long ago that you were opening a second location. I was like, yes, look at Mandy expanding while, everyone else. But yeah,
I was kind of forced into that, but it's okay. I'm accepting it. I'm still working on it. It's going a little bit slower than what I thought just because life got crazy, you know. So I am still that's I have the studio. It's in Simpsonville. It's one room. But there are some medical procedures that I do now that I really just need to be in a doctor's office so that I have a little more like scheduling flexibility and stuff like that versus trying to have a doctor inside my studio at certain times. So anyway, like I said, I was kind of pushed into that a little bit, but I'm like, all right, well, make it sound good.
Yeah, yeah. I was excited to see that. I was like, well, as long as she ain't gonna stop waxing, I'm okay
uh,
with,
uh, uh, uh.
with all this other stuff. As long as I can get in to so she can see me and do what she need to do. Um, so over your span of career, like we've talked about, how have you maintained both your business and your personal life? What would you have to say has been the most challenging thing that you've had to face, um, both business wise and then on a personal situation? But like you, like you were saying when we talked the other day, you get up and say, "Mandy, you got to keep going." So, what have been some of your biggest challenges?
Well, so there's been a lot. um, a huge challenge I would say is being being the owner, being the one that is responsible for the decisions, and just making sure that the place operates and functions, especially when there's employees there. Because again, that's something I take very serious. Those people depend on me. Again, ain't nobody hanging out with me just because they like me. They need to be paid. You know, they have a livelihood to think about as well. But it's Tammy, it's hard when something happens in your personal life and you're down and you're depressed, or you just want to stay in bed for 3 days and call in and not deal with anything. You know, to that, I think that's what you were getting at. What I was talking to, like, you still have to you have to get up the next day. You have to put your clothes on. You have to take a shower. You know, you have to get ready and you have to show up. So that's where the discipline starts to um, kick in. And I talk to a lot of new estheticians and stuff and PMU artists and things like that. And they're like, oh, I'm just not motivated. I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, it's not about motivation. Motivation and happy are nice, but that's just not what we get on a daily basis. I get that there are some people that wake up every day and their feet hit the ground running and they're happy and they're laughing and they're ready to go. But that's not me, and that's not most of the people that I come encounter with. So it really turns into a situation of, just being disciplined there. And that goes to little things like get up and make your bed, or make sure there's no dirty dishes. And those are just little things that really, when I get to a point in my life where I'm struggling and I'm not doing well or feeling well, or I don't want to face my day, I can see that I start letting little things like that go.
Mhm.
And so that's just been a big thing. That's been a huge challenge for me. It's being the one that's kind of like in control of the whole operation, but maybe having like something bad that's going on in life and having to show up for work. And when I show up for work, I'm not sitting behind a computer desk that I get, I'm face to face with 50 people a week, touching them, physically touching them, being that close with them. So, I wouldn't even say that I have to be fake, but I definitely, because I am still real. I think that's why I have the most amazing relationships like what I have with you. I am still very real, but I know that I have to put on a happy face, because no matter how much you love me, girl, the last thing you want to do is every time you come into my office and sit on that chair is me just start vomiting negativity on you. You know,
Right. Right.
that's been a challenging part for me. I think I do well with separating the two, but there definitely have been times in my life and my career that I struggled with that. You know, I struggled with that big time. Um, and then at home, I would say that the exact same thing. Like, one of my biggest struggles for being at home, if my business is not doing well financially, things are going, do you think that I'm going to come home and be happy? And no. And I'm also probably not going to want to talk about it. That's just me. And I think that's a negative thing about me. When things start going bad, I close up, because
Oh,
that's when I go into survival mode, and I'm like, well, I've got to fix it. Nobody else is gonna. I don't want to sit here and talk to you about all these problems, because you're not going to fix it. I got to fix it. So it, I don't know if that's good or bad, but
yeah.
that's definitely what I do. Yeah, that's my biggest challenge still to this day, is if something's going bad in one area, being able to go to the opposite, vice versa, and really keeping the game face on. And it's not even the game face. To me, that's what keeps you going, because if you just let it all fall apart, then what then you
Right.
have even more problems on your
Right.
hands.
You have more stuff to fix.
Yeah.
So, you also mentioned, that you did spend a period of time as a single parent and then having to learn how to co-parent. So, what has that route or that phase in your life um, taught you, or how did you navigate that? And, like I said, all of the stuff that you may or may not have had going on as a client, I didn't feel it didn't feel bumpy to me. So you navigated it very, very well. So
Thank you.
um single parenting and co-parenting, how was that journey been for you?
Um, I will say this: I am so blessed, and I encourage everyone, because I know that there are a lot of split families out there. As much as we don't want it to happen, it does. Um, I have worked extremely hard to secure and have an amazing relationship with Liam's father and his Liam's stepmother. I have respect for both of them. I love them. I want them to do happy, to be happy and to be successful, because they're helping raise my child. They are the other part of his life. I
Mhm.
would never wish, ill or bad, or to lose a job or not get a promotion or anything like that. I'm in the corner rooting for the promotions for them. Okay. Like, yes, I need you to be secure and happy and healthy. Um,
Right.
so that's where I am now. And that is good. And it is amazing. And I would not, that is priceless. I love both of those people. Has it always been that way? No. you know, anytime you go through a divorce, something ain't right. I mean, clearly you don't like each other, and then I'm sure when the other, both Derek and I could both say, oh, yeah, I didn't like such and such when they first got involved. But again, we are, we're in a good place and now, and I'm
Mhm.
so thankful for that. There have been hard times, and gosh, as a matter of fact, when my son was very little, that and he would go to his dad's, that was a very dark, sad time for me. Like, I started self-medicating and drinking a lot, like drinking a lot of wine and stuff like that the days he wasn't with me. And that was a really dark place. And I knew it couldn't go on like that, and because to me, I could see it. Things at work started to fall apart. I wasn't like all these hats you have to wear. They
Mhm.
weren't being worn. So
Mhm.
it was a struggle. I had my low place with it, but then
Mhm.
I also told myself too, that baby, he needed me I needed me. My mother needed me. I needed to be healthy. Like, the reason I am doing all of this, the reason I work so hard is so that I can take care of my child and my mother and the people in my family that don't have a, they're depending on me.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't always easy. I'm
Mm-hmm.
thankful to be where I am now. I did hit, kind of a low point, but again, sometimes that's when I fight the hardest. Is
Mm-hmm.
when my back is truly against the wall, is when growth happens and when I flourish and when I take the next step. And I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of things that I'm sure could have been done better, but I just refuse to sit back and wither away to some bad circumstance as I may view it or whatever. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's knowing that you can't quit, and like you said, we've all made some bad decisions or had low places, but the fact that you can sit here and tell about them now and
Yeah.
those times did not destroy you, that is that's amazing. So um
And I will also say that it has made me as a mother enjoy and cherish and love and probably be a better mother for the time that I have my child.
mhm,
When he is with me now, I am just so much better because I know what it's like to have to share him, to be without him. And it gives me a little bit of break. I hate to say that. And I know, like, you
well,
could be
I'm sure there's
persecuted
some
for
mothers
saying that
on
as a
here that
parent.
will agree with you. You need your time. So
Yes.
I don't think it makes you a bad mother to say that his time away gives you a break. You won't be faulted for that, I'm sure. Um, so when you are not having to be super mom or super Mandy at Studio M, what does Mandy like to do in her downtime? Like, um, are you, and I think I know this because you and I share a love for a common place, a beach or mountains girl, what is it? How do you say, well, I'll say, how do you, because you care for so many people, what does self-care for Mandy look like?
Self care for me, now that I've gotten a little bit older, is truly it's a different thing. It's different. So self care can be me just having a night with that super amazing group of friends I was telling you about. That
Mhm.
recharges me, to feel their love, to have their support. That feeds my soul. I live for my friendships for sure. It is so important to me. Another thing that is super important to me, and on the other end of the spectrum, is for me to close the doors, go to bed, watch Netflix, and do something like that. Probably haven't been doing that as much as I should recently. Well, I got a lot of that in quarantine. So, when we were locked down.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say for the last few months, I've just been back to full speed, to high gear. But yeah, the beach, water. Yes, ma'am. I will hopefully retire and end up in a little shack on some beach. And that's
Yeah,
how I will live out the rest of my life. I have it planned.
I know
Um,
you and I share a love for Fripp Island. So whichever one of us
yes,
gets a property there first, we have to let the other one come.
that's exactly
And
right.
visit.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I love Fripp. I haven't been. I think 2018 was the last time I was there, but yeah, love getting down there whenever I can. So
Folly Beach has been my new love as well. So now that the beach
okay,
is a little bit bigger and a lot of free, yeah, so you'll have to check that out if you've not been recently. Folly Beach is really nice. I love that. So
okay,
yeah. Traveling. I mean, I love to travel. I don't get to do it nearly as much as I would like to, and not even speaking about COVID. Sometimes I even get a little nervous. That's something I want to teach my son to be able to do is travel and travel smart. But yeah, I mean, I think if I had like absolutely no fear and unlimited amounts of money, I would just get a passport and go to like every end of the earth that you could possibly imagine.
Yes, yes. So we actually have a question, and because I've seen it, I'm gonna pop it up.
Okay.
Um, it says, "What caused the transition from bad to good co-parenting?" So you said it was a little rocky at first, but you guys are in an amazing space right now,
Right.
co-parenting. So what caused that? How did you arrive at a good place being?
I'm sure if you set all of the adults down, at least one common point that we would say is that we all had to keep our mouths shut at a certain point, to step back, to think about the child, what was better for the child, and or to be willing to give to the other set of parents, to the other parent, being willing to give to them at times that you didn't want to, because that's going to come back around and you're going to need and want the same thing. um you know, Tammy, you're not going to believe this, but sometimes I could be a pretty petty person when it comes to my baby, and and so you kind of have to let that go. You have to let that
Mm.
go. You have to just dig deep in being, one thing that I constantly would say in the beginning is let's work through this together. Let's come up with this together. As a mother to a young child, that is very difficult because we are mama bears, and those husbands love those kids just as much. But you know I know there were plenty of times that I could have gotten my way had I wanted to, because that was my baby, and y'all wasn't gonna tell me nothing else.
And I see your hand going like this, like, and I know, and I would have.
And he knows. And but I also, like, I never wanted my son to cry and miss me. I always talk positive about his dad. I never, like, and I still to this day, it is very important for me, which I generally don't have the points of frustration, not to say that they won't come back up, but I just don't have the amount of frustration that I had initially. But still, I do not talk bad about his father or anything like that. And I believe that they do not talk bad about me. And I'm sure that we all still at times get on each other's nerves, but we don't let that play into with the kids. And if there's been a time that Liam has wanted to see his dad, I pick up the phone and say, hey, he wants to see you. Derek is usually really good about dropping what he's doing to come get him, and vice versa. Liam has gotten over there, been over there 2 days, and said, "I want mama," and so he lets him come back. And so I think that one of the keys to answer that question is, when you have chances to give to the other parent, to the other set, do that. At least try it. Try it a few times. Try to just blow the other set of parents' mind with how much you are willing to give to them and to accommodate to them. And, with holidays and stuff like that, we've always just played it by ear and made sure the child kind of got the split time and stuff like that. So that's what I would recommend. I know it's not easy. Listen, I know it's not easy, but it's possible. It is definitely possible. And I just think you have to be willing to give.
Yes. Thank
And
you
then,
for
but
sharing
listen, now if you
that.
give too much and they don't give back to you, you can stop. But I think you'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised.
You said don't overexhaust the giving until they
Yeah, don't
show up
over
too.
listen, but some people you just can't change the other person. I've watched a friend go through this. She
Mm,
listened to me and she would do these things and try, and that other party, I was like, girl, that is a wrap. Like, you need to stick to them court papers. But, but I think still tries. And that's good because there's nothing worse than having to wake up and go to bed fighting with the other set of parents. And
Mm-hmm.
it is not going to do anything but affect your kids. And so, another thing that we have done that's been really powerful and good is, and it hasn't happened a lot, but birthday parties we do together. We've sat down and had dinners together. So the kids get to see, that we're together. I'm not saying we have to have like these big, wonderful, we're whatever, but we're together. Um,
Right.
and that's something that I even am striving to do a little bit more is once every so often, I'd like to have Liam's father and his wife over for dinner and me cook
Mm-hmm.
for them. And, it just be, I think that's very important. And I think it's really good for the kids too, as they get older, because they're going to realize they can't pull it over, and
Yeah, yeah.
that will
That you got,
happen.
they
They're
see you
already
guys
making,
as a team and
yeah,
not fighting against each other.
yes.
So as we prepare to wrap up, Mandy, I want you to kind of share what, well, of course, I'm going to have you share some inspiration or encouragement. Before I do that, talk a little bit about what you offer at Studio M. If you are local to Greenville, Mandy's studio is on Pelham Road. The Simpsonville location is coming soon. So will you talk about some of what you do and how you serve people through Studio M?
Absolutely. So we perform eyelash extensions now. That's big in this world of ladies. I do not do that. I have a sweet, beautiful young lady who does. Acne clinics are big. If anybody, teenager or adult, is suffering from acne and you have tried dermatologists and doctors, or if you're even thinking about going down that route, please. I mean, the success rate that we have is 90% of our clients have clear skin in 90 days, and it happens. So I just encourage people to try that route before going on antibiotics and things. And let's see what else. So I do a lot of anti-aging stuff as well. I had to think about that. I do anti-aging things, removing skin tags and sunspots and stuff like that, just things that aren't harmful to your skin, but just aesthetically not pleasing. And of course, waxing, full body waxing.
So if you guys want to follow Mandy or find her business is on Facebook at Studio M Professional Skincare. So you can look that page up and go follow her. Like I said, I've been a client. Haven't done all of those things, but I'm very pleased with what she's been doing for me for it's been 10 years. I guess we're going into our 11th year here soon.
Yeah.
So she comes highly recommended. And outside of that, before this platform, she served as a mentor for me at one of our mentoring mentorship through In Life. So has been a fortunate connection over the years. So I am so grateful for you, Mandy. So
Thank you.
would you please share just a tidbit of encouragement or inspiration to leave with those that are watching or those that will watch in the replay? And you can share from any facet of your life. If you can share from your business, you can share from being a mother. I know you mentor several business owners, so whatever you'd like to share.
I think I'll just hit on like a couple of those really quickly. First of all, as far as the business aspect goes, like you just need to be focused and to have a plan and to have the right people in place. No, it is not going to be like it takes work. You're not going to start off in the first year and be where I am. You know, the business is 11 years old, but my gosh, I've been doing this even longer. And that's just the way it is. But it is so doable. It is so possible if you have a plan, if you stay focused, if you bring the right people in. Whenever something goes wrong, realize that tomorrow is going to come. It's not the end of the world. You just have to keep pushing through. I definitely want to say something just my heart goes out to, and it is like my best accomplishment in this world is being a mother. And so to have someone, just ask the question about how to bring those families together. I'm just going to end it with saying, please, that's important to you as well. I can tell. And just try to give a little bit, try to extend the olive branch. I know it's not always going to be well received, but I think if you could just blow their mind and your mind a few times, you would make a little bit of progress. And that to me means everything, more than business and more than anything else, is having some good families.
Yes, yes. So thank you guys for tuning in. I know we're getting back into the groove of things, being the first Wednesday in 2021. I appreciate your continued support. Mandy, thank you again for your flexibility and making yourself available.
Thank you.
I know you have a busy schedule with your job and with parenting, so I do appreciate you sacrificing your time to show up and share this space with me tonight.
It was a pleasure.
So, everyone that's watching, thank you guys again. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for chiming in. And even if you catch the replay, thank you again for your support. I will be back next week. I will be making the announcement a little later this week or early next week about my guests for next week. Please pray for our country. Just keep
Mm.
everyone involved at any scale in prayer, because we as a people need to remain safe. We need to make good decisions and wise decisions. And I know for one, I want everyone in my family to make it home safely day in and day out in the midst of all of this unrest. So I pray the same for yours. So as you guys are going about your day and before you lay the rest of the night, remember to our country in prayer, and that peace would rest in these unruly situations. So thank you again for your support. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate you. And we will see you guys next week. Mandy, if you'll just hang out with me for a second before
Okay.
disconnecting. All right. Good night, guys.